Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris here. So today I'm going to show you a pretty interesting tool, which is this Tabby tool. So basically, this is a self-hosted version of GitHub CoPilot. Pretty interesting. It's definitely not all the way there, but it is pretty close, and it does a great job. So I'm just going to walk you through how to get it, how to load it, and then how to use it. So basically, the way that Tabby works is that it has a fine-tuned model that it's fine-tuned on specific languages, and it hosts those models on your local machine. So instead of needing to go to Copilot or anything like that, you can actually just run this on your local machine. It runs both on CPU and on GPU. So whichever you have, you can use. Let's just get into how we can start using this, and let's see how it does. So as always, we're going to start by cloning the repository. So we'll head over to our terminal here, and we will git clone and paste that in. Once we've done that, we're clear to cd into Tabby. Check out all the awesome files we have here. This is the important one, because there's a Docker file, we can just run it with Docker. The repository actually provides a handy prompt for us. But before we plug in the Docker command, we do have to make sure that we follow this step. So we'll go back to our terminal and do that now. And then we're good to come back here and grab the GPU Docker command if you have a GPU, or the just regular Docker run command if you don't have a GPU, or if your GPU has very little memory. We can go ahead and run that. Now, I've already built this, so the image is cached just to save some time. As you can see, though, it's just loading up some models, and then we're going to be off to the races. So now that it's running, we can come back to our browser and navigate to localhost 5000, where we can look at the actual full API. So we have our completions API here, and we have our events API. Additionally, we have these different events that it can respond to. And they've actually built a sweet little front end for us so we can look at it and kind of play with it. So first things first, we can see that we are live with our Triton server. Very happy about that. We can install the extension using VS Code, or we can use the editor that it provides in the browser. If we wanted to do that, we could say, def add a b, and then it would do that auto code completion for us, which is pretty sweet. It has some examples here, so we can use like the Fibonacci example, classic Fibonacci example, right? So as you can see, it is definitely not at the strength that Copilot is, but it is still pretty good. It's good for more basic tasks. Once you start getting a little bit outside of the box, it's definitely not amazing, but that's totally fine. The big advantage here is that we're running this locally, and we don't have to pay for it, other than the cost of running your machine. Also, if there's any security concerns with the interactions with Copilot, this is a good way to still have access to some interesting code completion without, having to go outside of your premises. So that's great, but there is another option here, which is VS Code extension. So let's give that a shot. Okay, so if we head over to VS Code, we can go to our extensions, and we can go Tabby, and we can install it. So now that it's installed, we can use Control-Shift-P and type Tabby. We can set the URL of the Tabby server. You can see here that we have it set to our local host at 5000. Let's press enter there. So now we have the extension activated, and you can see that it's running here, and I've deactivated Copilot. Let's just see if it can actually do some of its own code, right? So this is the code that's currently running Tabby. So let's see if with some guidance, it can actually give us the information we're looking for. So it's definitely close. I mean, it did do this. It added the additional nuns, which we don't necessarily want or need, but it did do it. I think let's try and see if it can do this health check, So in terms of the original code and the code that it produced, I mean, I'm happy to say that this is basically just fine. It is a little bit extra verbose, but otherwise it gets the job done. So I'm pretty happy about that. So honestly, in terms of a new open source tool that hasn't been out for very long at all, I think Tabby is actually quite good. Obviously, there's a long ways to go. It is not yet as powerful as CoPilot, which makes sense. But the fact that we can run it on premises, so we don't have to go to CoPilot, we don't have to pay past the cost of compute, and because the inference is right here on the machine, it can actually be quite fast. In terms of its current usefulness, it's probably not there yet, but I would definitely keep an eye on this repository as time goes on. It does look like the author is looking to release new models that are specifically trained for certain languages, which is awesome. And I really just can't wait to see where this goes. It takes almost no time to set up, it takes almost no time to run, and it takes almost no time for making suggestions. So like in true YouTube fashion, there's only one thing to do, one more code completion to try, which is this one right here. So let's see what it does. And indeed, we get a valid response. You'll love to see it. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Hope you liked it. If you do, please like and subscribe. All right, thanks, and have a great day.